All right, everyone. So in today's episode, I'm going to give you my game plan for the week ahead and specifically my watch list for Monday morning. I'm going to share a couple stocks I have on watch. Now, I may not end up trading them. It's going to depend on the price action Monday morning. If they sell off hard Monday morning in the pre-market session, then, well, the setup's going to be broken. But if they continue higher, then I may have something to work with. And as always, when I do a game plan for the week ahead, I like to take a look at the previous week to kind of get context, to help you guys understand context of current market condition. Is the market hot? Is the market cold? Is it choppy? Et cetera, et cetera. Now, something that I've already talked about is the fact that I always find it a little difficult when the new month starts on a Thursday or a Friday. So, let me pull my metrics down here. Of course, I had a great month of July, but it was a little bit tricky going into the last day of the month. In fact, I went red before recouping into the green. So a little bit of a close call there on Wednesday, the 31st. And then Thursday, the 1st of August, I felt this, kind of goal of starting the month with a nice green day and building my cushion. Because once you have a cushion on the month, it feels like you're in the driver's seat. The worst thing you could do is start the month in the red. But with the new month beginning on a Thursday or a Friday, that can always be tricky because that's not usually the strongest day of the week. Usually companies put out good news on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, so the market has time to see the news, buy the stock, and the stock goes up. They put out bad news usually towards the end of the week, so hopefully the market just forgets about it and it doesn't begin sort of a week-long sell-off. This is very common. So as a result, without a lot of strong news catalysts on a Thursday or Friday, if you're getting stubborn and fixated on having a big green day, you may find yourself getting disappointed and you may start to get stubborn and spiral. And that's exactly what happened to me on Thursday. So I went down 7,500 before recouping to being up about 2,000, more like 1,000 after fees and commissions. And it wasn't a good start. But then Friday, I ended up finishing up just over the daily goal of 5,000. This is like $5,400. So as it sits right now, I'm sitting up about 7,000 for the month of August, which is a good start. I haven't imported the trades. Lightspeed's been having some issue with their exporter. It's like, I don't know what the issue is. I emailed them about it. But anyways, so I haven't been able to import my trades from Thursday and Friday yet, which is a bummer. But anyways, I know that I was 2,000 and then 5,000. So 7,500 on the month right now. All right. So now next week is going to be our first full week of August. All right. The only thing is that I will be on my traveling trading station this whole week here, and then I'll be home these 2 weeks, and then I'll be on my traveling trading station again this week. So I'm going to be on my traveling trading station for half of the month of August. Not that that's unusual, really. I spend, even in February when I had this really great stretch here, this stretch, no, was it this stretch? This was all on my traveling trading station here. Yeah, it was that stretch there, and that was fine. I mean, anyway, so it just is what it is. The only thing that I'd take note of for those of you that also bring your laptop with you and trade on the traveling trading station is that you have to be careful of distractions. So if you are not as focused as normal because you're thinking about all the things you're going to do that day, or you're in a coffee shop and it's really noisy, then that's something to definitely factor in. I always try to find a little quiet place, even if I'm tucked into like a closet, just some like tiny little place in the house or hotel room or whatever it is, where I can just put on my headphones and trade for like 2 hours. And if I can get that done, then the rest of the day is fine. So I'll have my regular routine starting, 6:30, 7 a.m. looking at the scanners, and chat room opens at 7 each day. So that'll be for the week ahead. But yeah, okay. So context, I would say right now of the previous week was that the market was a little softer. We had a good day on Monday, slower on Tuesday, slower on Wednesday, almost red on Thursday, and then a little bit better on Friday. So Fridays have been decent lately. All right. So now coming into Monday this week, I think something that we also have to be mindful of is that the overall market right now is pulling back. Now, despite the overall market pulling back, in fact, for the last couple of weeks, really, I mean, we've been stair-stepping down. We're still above the 200 moving average, which is psychological support, well above it. So we've got room to come down to it, and that would still be totally fine. We would still be in great position because the overall market's been so strong here. So not really worried about this at all, but it's just noteworthy the overall market's been pulling back. So your large cap stocks like Nvidia and Tesla, for the most part, they're going to trend with the market and they're going to pull back as well. So if you're trading large caps, you're more likely to see a strong correlation between what's going on in the overall market and how those stocks are performing. But when you're trading small caps, a small cap stock that has a catalyst and a reason to go up, look, VSEE went up 200% while the overall market was dropping. Why? Because it had news. And so this, for me, has always felt like the easier way to approach trading, just to focus on stocks that have news, that have a reason to be moving. And then that overrides whatever's going on in the market for the most part, with a couple of exceptions. So Friday we had VSEE, which was great after hours on Thursday, but then by Friday morning, it was sort of selling off and didn't end up holding up super well. So that was kind of a bummer. Still ends up being up versus, Thursday, but not as strong as it had been in the previous session. The last stock that hit my scanner here was MGOL. Let's see what the news is on this. It's a merger. Yeah, I'm just looking at that chart, and it almost looks like it could be a merger where this company is being taken out and moving into a different company. So let's see. It'll turn off by itself. Don't worry. So let's see. Yeah, after a few minutes, it'll turn itself off. So, no, that's not it. Huh, interesting. All right, well, so MGOL, we'd have to spend some time kind of trying to figure out what this headline is. These attorneys always do this. It's like classic kind of ambulance chaser. Merger under terms of proposed. Receive one share of newly incorporated. Interesting. Okay. Well, I don't know. So that one looks like it's not going to be in play. So the leading gappers still ended up being VSEE and MKDW. Let's switch over to our continuation scanner here. So ALF. Okay, interesting. Huh. Well, no volume really. 400,000 shares, but all at the close. So this is an acquisition company. Probably skip over that one. AZTR, we know this one had big range, but I'm not even going to look at it for a bounce. QXO, this one, big range as well. Not interested in a bounce. RGC, Chinese stock, not interested in a bounce. Some of these have been big, but they've been pulling back. Mira, it's over the 200. It does have support at the 200 moving average here. I would say this is a pretty good example of a stock that broke the 200 and then came back down and had support at that level. So let's see. I'll grab a quick screenshot of that. It's a good example. But nonetheless, at this point, I would say that's not going to be something that I would really trade. Because the thing is, you can see it already had its day here where it tried to make a new high right there. And that was fine. Then it pulled back lower, bounced off this level, and then it came back up here and here. So yeah, that sometimes when we get that kind of price action, it just sort of ruins the chart. It's just selling off too much. Let's see. Okay, so that's that one. NUZE, this one's interesting. Generally been selling off here since that big spike. I think that one's on the wrong side. SERV, that one sold off on Friday. Maybe, I wonder if that's related to Nvidia selling off since Nvidia took a stake. Maybe, I'm not sure. Might just be that it's extended. Let's see. CMAX. CMAX, this is one that made a big move, but right now it doesn't have enough volume. SLRX, this one, same kind of issue here. I don't think that's going to work. WINT, this one was really interesting. 47% short interest according to Ortex. Had a pretty good short score, but that one's pulling back as well. If we look at some of the lowest float stocks, you'll see some in here that, BURU, very low float, probably one to keep an eye on. It needs news. It's not going to go probably without a nice news headline, but you can see how it's been stair-stepping up. So if this has news, we could get a nice move on it with that low float. GRI, 54 cents, a little on the cheaper side. PBM, this one a little on the cheaper side. DRMA, this one popped up and it ended up holding okay after hours. So maybe. The only problem is it has higher red volume back here from a couple sessions ago. That throws me off a little bit. That was like 60 million shares on this candle. It went up to 5. So now you've got to kind of get back to 5 and be above that to really be, to me, interesting. So I don't know if that one's going to work. Let's see. SCPX, recent reverse split. The reverse split has the effect of reducing the float. That's why some of these floats are so low. Some of these we've already traded. They had news last week or the week before. IVP pulling back. BBLG had news on that. VRPX. Yeah, so I would say at this point, BURU. I mean, I could put it on a side chart, and if there's a day where it's just sitting on my side chart, and then all of a sudden I see a big green candle forming, like, then I'm gonna know, all right, something's going on with this. Is it news? I don't know. So I'll pull it up at that time. And if I just keep it on watch, then I might even see it before it hits my scanners. So I'll just leave that as a side chart to have on watch. ZAP, ZAPP. No, I think that one's not going to work anymore. It's pulled back way too much. So, okay, you can watch something else. So, yeah, I would say, you what? Okay, go. There's some crackers over there, bud. This week has been a little tough for me because I haven't been able to, the mornings have been a little chaotic. I usually have someone who helps watch the kids during the summer. They were at summer camp, and then summer camp ended, but the girl that usually watches them has COVID, so she's been out sick this week. Anyways, MKDW. Yeah. TBIO is interesting. This one had a pop up, drop back down, came back up. Something that I usually find interesting. The what? Oh, those are all gone. We finished those yesterday. I know. We can go get more at the store though if you want. What do we need to have on our feet to go to the store? Look for your shoes. Okay. So I think at this point, just kind of thinking about if there's anything else I'm missing. Yeah, BURU on a side chart. I just don't feel like we didn't have anything. One other scan I can check is our after hours top gainers, but you just have MGOL, APLT. These are all light. They didn't move enough, which is not surprising, right? It's kind of like the end of the week. It's a Friday. What are we really going to expect? So maybe what I'll do here is let me give you kind of a quick walkthrough of how I approach a stock first hitting my scanners. So we can kind of do a little prep for Monday. So let's just say, for instance, ding, ding, this stock just hit the scan. So if this stock hits the scan right here, it's ZVRA. What's the first thing I do? The first thing that I'm going to notice is the color of the background of the scanner alert. So I can scroll over and see that this scanner is squeeze up 10% in 10 minutes, which is a pretty good move. So the fact that it's squeezing up tells me already the stock is moving. Now, the next thing I'll look at is the float. In this case, I see the float's 41 million shares. And what I know is that usually a 41 million share float is going to be easy to borrow. So it'll be E on my trading software. And usually a float of this this level is going to need a lot of volume and really good news to make a big percentage move that will be sustained. So at this point, I might not even pull up the chart because I can see the float is as high as it is. So now let's say I go ahead and pull up the chart. I pull up the chart, I take a look at it, I zoom in, I zoom out on the daily, I check to see, are we above or below the 200? Right there, you can see we're above the 200. So I'm like, all right, that's bullish. We're above the 200. That's good. I check the name of the company here, Therapeutics. So now I know, all right, check the news headline, FDA AdCom backing for rare disease therapy. Okay. So now I'm thinking, we've got news on this. That's the reason it's moving up. It's a therapeutics pharmaceutical company. These ones tend to do better, even if the float's higher, although the float being lower would make it even stronger. And then as I look at the chart, I would be thinking, all right, where's the first pullback? So when this first hit the scan right here, it hits the scan, it squeezes up to 9. Hey guys, can you keep your voices down a little bit? That is still trying to finish up this episode. So we get this move up to 9, little pullback here, and then boom, we break through 9. So a little micro pullback. Now, the thing with this is that typically if we were looking for micro pullback, I'd be buying right here, right? We get this nice squeeze up, consolidation, and I would buy right here. Why didn't that go? Well, probably because it was Friday at 4:30, 5 o'clock, whatever, 6 o'clock. But nonetheless, that's the place I would usually be a buyer looking for that first pullback. Now, if that first pullback fails because there's a big seller up here, then, all right, it dips back down. Maybe, maybe I take a dip on it. Depends on how much it dips. And maybe I look for that second attempt through that level. In this case, it breaks. Then it does a micro pullback following the break and pushes higher. And this is sort of classic because what you get is clearly there was resistance at 9. We break above 9 and then it retests it to prove it can hold it. And then it squeezes it again, comes back down to 9. And now it's sort of below 9. So that's not uncommon to see that kind of price action. The only thing usually is that when you have this big of a move, like 40% that quick, usually you would expect that the first pullback would get bought up with more volume. Again, the float on this is a little higher, but that's kind of my process. So number one, I find the stocks on the scans 99% of the time. There'll be a rare occasion where someone calls out a stock, then I'll pull up the chart and be like, oh, that does look good. Or where I'll have something on a side chart and see it start to spike, but that's not as common. Usually 99% of the trades I would find are right off these scanners here. And by the way, you guys have access to the same scanners that I have access to if you're a member of Warrior Trading or you're subscribing to Day Trade Dash, which is scanners only and charts, scanners, charts, and news. So first step is checking scans, getting the alert, then checking to see what the news catalyst is. So as soon as I pull up the stock, I'm checking the stock quote window. What's the type of company? What's the sector? What's the news? Is there news? Checking the daily chart, looking for 5-minute and 1-minute entries. And then from there, it's executing the trade using level 2, right? Watching the order flow, the big buyers, the big sellers, using my hotkeys, tape reading, jumping in when I'm seeing green on the tape, adding into strength, taking profit as it comes up to the next $0.5 whole dollar psychological resistance level, and then, looking for potentially another entry if it sets up another opportunity. So I can give you this. This is, kind of my 5 steps. Scanners, fundamental analysis, technical analysis, executing the order, and then analyzing my metrics of those trades and my performance on that day. So that's the way I usually approach it. So Monday morning, while it's possible that BURU has great news, I certainly am not the type of trader that would just buy it and hold and wait for that to happen, because we could also have bad news that comes out and it's just not worth the exposure risk. When I was getting started, I had a small account. I couldn't afford to just, throw a couple $1,000s into a stock and let it sit there and wait and hope it would, have news. I have to trade things that are moving today. And that does mean I sacrifice some of the total gain by jumping in something that's a little higher. But on the other hand, what I gain from that is more efficiency. So it's like if I'm making a 5%, 10% kind of trade, and I'm doing that in 5-10 minutes, and I save myself all the stress of holding overnight, I think that is definitely a good trade-off. So yeah, so most likely tomorrow or Monday morning, the way I'll be thinking about it is, all right, I'll sit down, I'll 6:30, whatever, 7 a.m. I'll look at the scans and I'll see what's our leading gapper. Now we may have something like, what was it, MGOL on the scan because it was gapping up after hours. So we'll see. That one might still be holding up. The float's 737,000 shares, but it's a merger. So I don't think that's probably going to give us a lot more, but we could check. It is under the 200 moving average, which is not a great position. Oh my gosh, girl. What is she doing? She's so bad. So I don't think that one's probably going to work, but I'll keep an eye on it. But anyways, we'll have most likely, a list of stocks here, and most of them will probably be stocks that had news that came out, Sunday night or early Monday morning. And so the market starts reacting in that pre-market session to those headlines. So then from there, it's, pulling up the stock that's on the scan, checking the sector, the catalyst, daily chart, then looking for a 5-minute entry, 1-minute entry. Is the stock moving? And then from there, I'm on my level 2. There's a lot of times when I first pull up the scans in the morning, I can, sometimes I'm just like, nope, nope, nope. Wouldn't be interested in any of these. Don't care for it. So let's say, for instance, this was the scan on Monday morning. 319 million share float, up 14%. Next. No interest in that. 69 million share float, 14%. Nope, nope, nope. I would not trade any of these. The problem is the float is too high and the percentage change is not high enough. There's not enough interest. So I would very quickly just say, no, none of these look good. And so that's going to mean that I don't even have to take the time to pull up the charts, right? I'm not even going to look at the charts because I know that these, just from this point, don't pass the test. So they have to pass that first test before I even pull up the chart. So just looking at the technicals from this perspective, the float, the volume, the percentage change, I can usually get a sense of whether or not I would even consider trading. So, but then maybe, this one, TSRG, okay, it's not up a lot, but the float's low. Let's see, is there news on it? So then I pull it up, technology, no news. So then I might dig a little further. I was like, is it a Chinese stock? Because we know Chinese stocks with no news can make big moves. Not clear yet, but looking like perhaps. So then let me, so then I'll say, all right, let me actually look at the filings. So this one is TRSG. Oops. Singapore. Okay, so Singapore. So no, that's not going to be a problem. The Chinese ones are the ones that you got to be careful of. But no. So anyways, so then I would kind of do that due diligence and then look at the chart. No volume though. So no news. That's probably not going to do anything. But that's my workflow. That's what my process looks like each day. And I was actually talking to a student that I have who's been working for me for the last, I don't know, like 6 years. He's local to this area, and we met, and he was learning how to trade, and I was like, do you want a job while you're learning how to trade? It'll sort of, help subsidize the learning curve. And so he's been working for me now for the last 6 years or whatever it's been. And he's been trading on the side this whole time, but just this month he said, I'm going to go full-time trading. And so I was like, good for you. That's awesome. I'm proud of you. So he's going to go full-time trading. And so I said, how are you feeling about it? He's, emotions and stuff like that. It's always nice to have kind of, 2 sources of income if you can. And this is true for all of us. You diversify. So, when trading is slow, because sometimes it's slow, you've got something else you can rely on. So for people that are freelancing or have a side hustle or, whatever, it's great. People that are working a proper, 9-to-5 job with trading, you could do that too. And then whatever you make trading is just like above and beyond. And that's a great opportunity to trade just in a retirement account. So you don't get any taxes, you just grow your retirement. But nonetheless, he said, well, kind of the way I'm doing it right now is I have such a specific process that I follow every single day that, I just kind of sit down, I do my process, and then the cards will fall the way they will. Like if I make money, I make money. If I lose money, I lose money. And it's just, but more often than not, I'm making money. And I love that. I was like, that's great. So, that's kind of systemizing this process, right? Step one, the stock scanners. Look for a stock that meets your criteria. Now, look, there's some days where we pull up the stock scanners and there's nothing. It's dead. So, well, that's right. We're following the process. We're doing everything we're supposed to do, but there's nothing here to trade. Can't really get too emotional about it. I mean, it is what it is, right? The market will give and the market will take. So, but then step two, if we got a stock that looks good, check the news, right? Step three, technical analysis. Step four, pulling up the chart, executing the trade. Step five, analyzing the metrics, right? This is the process that we're going through. And we just follow the same process every single day. And this is the process I've been following every single day for so long. It really is like, it's kind of like clockwork. The only thing is, which is nice, is that every day is a little different because there's different stocks, there's different price action, there's different sort of themes in the market, and we're constantly having to adapt. So it's not like, you're working in a shoe factory and your job is to like string the laces and you're just like, oh my God, I'm stringing the laces. I'm sure there's some variation with that depending on the lace and the shoe, but let's be real. This is a lot more mentally engaging just because of the variety that we get each day and the excitement that, some days you follow the process and you get rewarded big time, right? So that's definitely a motivator to show up every single day. And that's why, for what it's worth, I don't take days off. I show up every single day. So, if I've got a trip, if I've got to go somewhere for work, or, the family wants to go somewhere, or, I have something that I want to do, I just bring my computer with me and off we go. So this year, you could see how many days I've missed. Not many. And most of the days I miss end up being like work holidays. But sometimes I'll have days where I'm here, I just don't see anything I like and I don't trade. So that's probably half the days that are no trade days. You go back to 2023, how many days did I miss, right? You're not seeing, like, I know, I'm not someone who's like, oh, I'm going to take a month off, I'm just going to take a vacation. I never do that. I don't take long vacation. I mean, I look, I'll travel, but I bring my laptop with me because you just never know. So this year I was in the Caribbean in February, and let's see, that was 2023. This is 2024. So I was in the Caribbean here in February. It's $130,000 a month on the traveling trading station. Not all of it, but a good chunk of it. That was great, right? So I was very happy with that. Let's see, 2023, I spent June and July in Europe. So I had a nice stretch there. I don't know about those no trade days there in July. I think this was because the market was just bad. We had a stretch where the market wasn't great. But nonetheless, for me, it's just, I try to show up every single day because you just never know. And the fact is, if we look at, hey, there's a nice no red month in August. I always like to see that. That was 2022. GameStop, obviously that came out of nowhere. And if you didn't show up, obviously you would have missed that opportunity. This was a crazy long green streak for me. April, May, June, July, only 2 red days in 4 months. Holy smokes, that was insane. That was truly crazy. That's unusual. That was definitely a time to dig deep and show up every day. But this is, look, I mean, how many years is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So for the last 9 years, I've been using TraderView. I was trading for a long time before that. I just wasn't using TraderView. So once I started using TraderView, I imported my trades from 2016, and I've been using it ever since. So, 8 years what was that? 2, 4, 6, 8. We're on the 9th year of using TraderView. That's customer loyalty right there. And I'm not an affiliate. I don't have any affiliate relationship with them either. I like the platform. So yeah, I was going to say, so for July, we look at July, and out of nowhere, like, a good month, and then all of a sudden a $45,000 green day and another one right behind it. Holy smokes, what is going on? That's when the market's heating up. So that's when it's time to dig deep, be aggressive, and capitalize. So I'm going to show up every day next week. Rain or shine, I will be here. And look, if we have some slow days, we have some slow days. No big deal, but I'm going to try to make the most of it. And I think that given the type of momentum we've been seeing, we probably will see some good opportunities. Those of you guys who want to join me for the next 2 weeks, hey, check out a 2-week trial. There's a link right there. All right, so you could check that out. We'd love to have you guys join us. Link will be posted in the description, top of the comments. So check that out. And, really give it a good try. See what it's like to be part of the community. We will have a Dog Days of Summer sale coming up here. So you'll see the pop-ups on the website, and we'll send an email out to you guys when that sale goes live. So, we usually like to do something in August, just a short little flash sale. So Dog Days of Summer sale is going to be coming, and hope you guys take advantage of some of those coupon codes as well. If you want to spend some of these hot summer days doing a little studying, put the classes on, put it on your headphones, and just study, study, study. This is a marathon, not a sprint. Every little piece of information that you can absorb, especially when it comes from someone who's qualified, credible, profitable, it's worth it. All right, so thank you guys as always for tuning in. I will leave those links in the description, and I'll remind you, as always, that my results are not typical. Trading is risky, so manage your risk, take it slow, and always practice in a simulator before you put real money on the line. All right, I'll see you guys bright and early Monday morning.